I just want to hear your first thoughts, honestly, because you have been interviewing people also and talking about this at stretch, whether it is the geopolitical stance, whether it is the way this is being perceived in the world. तो आपके initial thoughts क्या है? Like, how do you see this, the way Trump is acting like at the moment?
I mean, Trump has got a pattern to him. I think people think there is no pattern to how Trump thinks. Actually, there is a very clear pattern. It's the pattern is saying a lot of bullshit, and that the bullshit is by design a distraction so that we constantly react to the bullshit. Where in his brain, he's like, you say something so outrageous that you're like, this can't be real. Like, you got to be kidding me. That kind of a reaction, and then the others. Sometimes Trump plays the good cop, somebody else plays the bad cop. Usually Trump likes to play the bad cop, and then somebody comes in and plays the good cop, and that's a standard pattern with Trump. But as far as this particular conflict that has been going on, everybody has different parameters and different reasons, right? For Israel, it's an existential threat. As far as Iran is concerned, it's an existential threat, right? The Iranians have constantly had chants like "Death to America," "Death to Israel," "The Zionist regime has to go," and stuff like that. So for Israel, clearly, a nuclear Iran is an absolutely no-go zone. As far as America is concerned, I don't know what America's goals or objectives are in this war beyond helping an ally, Israel. And someday Trump says we will get the oil. Someday he says we will share the revenue of the Strait of Hormuz toll, which was a toll-free area. And suddenly Trump says we're going to do that. Then he says, regime change was the goal. Then he says it was never the goal. I don't know what. I think this is one of those rare occasions where I don't think the American side has clarified what their objectives are. But loosely, if you would say the American objective would be the change of regime and Iran stopping their nuclear program as in enrichment of uranium. So different people have different goals, and from the Iranian perspective, it is the survival of the regime. See, because what qualifies as victory for Iran, Israel, and America is very different. For Iran, they're mere survival, right? And the ability to block the Strait of Hormuz, hitting GCC countries, damaging their critical infrastructure, which is oil and gas or desalination plants. And the Americans not successfully protecting the GCC countries. From what I have understood, UAE has had more Iranian drone attacks than actually Israel has. And I don't know why, but they've had. So what Iran is trying to do is that they're trying to inflict so much damage on that part of the world that the GCC countries are economically shaken because they know they can't hit America. They don't even have weaponry that can hit America, from what I have understood. The Israelis, for them, clearly the victory would be the absolute annihilation of the Iranian mullah regime. And in that sense, I think taking out top actors, Israelis have kind of achieved partial goals. For the Americans, I have no freaking clue. I think as of now, because first the 10-point plan that the Iranians had announced, if that is the 10-point plan, then the Iranians have clearly won. Then I think the Americans must have seen ki this leads to no face saver for Donald Trump. Then they said no, Lebanon gets bombed after that. And then Lebanon was never part of the plan. So we really, so as of now, there is no one universal way of looking, because every country has to be setting their own parameters. And how I think as of now, Iran is much more in the positive in terms of what they have achieved. And the funny thing is, everybody is mad at Trump. Eventually, like, you think about it from an Indian perspective, that all Trump has to do is, let a few Indians to go to America on H-1B, and the image of America takes a U-turn. I'm just being,
Yeah,
and do some trade, and the image of
yeah,
America takes a U-turn. The
yeah.
biggest reputational damage this is going to occur in this war is going to be with Israel. Israel is going to suffer a major reputational damage, which I don't think the Israelis, because see, Israelis usually are very good at communicating,
Hmm.
even, but this time there is like complete silence from the Israeli side. From what I understand, it is being instructed from the Prime Minister's office, or like right from their version of the top. And I think nature abhors vacuum. So when you don't communicate, somebody else will communicate on your behalf, and that's when
Hmm.
you lose the the reputational battle from an Israeli perspective. I think the biggest loser right now, from a PR perspective, is Israel. The biggest gains uh,
Is with Iran, hands
is
Yeah.
down.
with Iran.
Yeah.
Partial gains are with Israel. The biggest losers are the GCC countries.
Yeah, not America, you would say.
Oh, क्या फर्क पड़ता है?
Hmm.
क्या Trump is not going to be there for the third term. America is too
Hmm.
much of an economic giant. They will manage these things. What's going to
Hmm.
come for Europe, the GCC countries, China, India? India, not so much. China, not so much. But especially the GCC countries is not pretty. And if it hits the GCC countries, it hits India, because our economic ties with those countries are very deep.
Hmm.
So, I mean, that's where we are.